was traveling in the Bahamas when I was 14 with some family companions. My companion and I were getting some henna tattoos at the inn, and there was this fellow waiting around us. However, we didn't respect it because many individuals would stop to see what was happening. After mine was done, I told my companion and her mother I planned to return to the room to prepare for supper. There were two different ways to the opposite side of the inn, either inside through a bundle of little stores or outside along the pool. I strolled through within and got to the lift, where I saw the person who had been watching us as of now at the lift. We got on together and he motioned for me to pick my floor button first. I clicked it, yet he didn't pick another floor. Cautions begin going off in my mind. What might I at some point do if I was caught in a lift? The lift halted on my floor, and I'd begun strolling to my room in this inn. The majority of the rooms faced the sea, so to one side in this lobby were simply windows. I was in the absolute keep-going room on that floor, and I could see the person following me around 10 feet behind. Around 2 entryways from my room he ran up. Furthermore, snatched me. I kicked and shouted and he dropped onto the floor. I raced to the room and secured myself. In the wake of chatting with security and giving a portrayal, they tracked down the fellow and found out that he had been following various more youthful ladies in the structure. Hey guys, please don't forget to subscribe to the channel to hit 100 subscribers after this video, because in the coming stories this is what's gonna happen. I took a brush as a weapon and went into the associated room. I really look in the storage room, and under the bed nothing. The sound had halted too. I was making a beeline for our primary room. This happened in 2019 on a vacation. My family and I happened in the mid-year consistently. We would go on a family getaway in an alternate area for close to a week or something like that. Also, this year we chose to go to Daytona Oceanside in Florida. I'm 17 and a lone kid, so it was just me and my folks. Well, we had some lengthy family coming. However, because of booking our ends late, we couldn't remain nearby one another. We had a few arranged exercises together, yet generally we were all alone as a family. It was the primary day we were there. We recently snoozed and relaxed around in our lodging the entire day due to fatigue from voyaging. When it got dim, my folks recommended we ought to all go down to the ocean side and walk a little before making a beeline for bed. Truly, that didn't sound all that good times. However, in those days I was truly into photography, so I figured I'd stroll down with them, and while they were going for a stroll I could take a few cool photos of the sea. This happened for perhaps 30 minutes. My guardians were way down the ocean side at this point. Also, being drained, I just figured I'd head back to the room without anyone else. Thus I did. When I went into the room, I mulled over the decision about whether to lock the entryway behind me, however ruled against it, as I was the only one with a room key. Also, assuming that I nodded off before my guardians returned, I didn't need to get up to open the entryway for them. I probably nodded off seconds after my head hit the cushion, yet just to be gotten up hours after the fact by my mother saying my name in a cruel murmur. The room had 2 beds, my folks' bed nearer to the entryway. What's more, mine further in the room. Once more, my mother's voice slices through the quietness, this time sounding much more concerned than the last. So sluggishly, I turned over and asked what she needed. As my eyes acclimated to the faint evening glow coming in through the room's shades, I saw her chance to take a gander at me. It was as, assuming she looked stunned to see me in bed. Her eyes got wide, and we both looked back to where she was formerly looking, just to see a hooded figure on the whole blacks remaining over their bed. I was tempted, shouting, however nothing emerged. My mother pushed and murmured to my father, who right now was still sleeping. Meanwhile, the figure recently proceeded to remain there until at long last my father woke up. What's more, all the other things appeared to have occurred in a moment. Unexpectedly, the figure booked it outside, followed not a long way behind by my father. My mother was currently making a ruckus. I attempted to follow my father, yet I lost him. Before coming to the lodging exit, my mother would call the police, and in no time after my father would return, having been beat by the figure. It turns out a couple of different visitors of that lodging had encountered something very much like that evening, and surprisingly, one of the laborers there had answered to have seen a man testing different room ways to check whether they were locked. What we figured probably happened is somewhere close to me showing up to the room. Also, my folks showing up, this man must have given himself access. I mean, it appeared to be legit. I left the room open for my folks. Furthermore, was out of it snoozing on my bed, and I surmised the figure probably covered up someplace inside, which would make sense of how he wasn't seen when my folks got back. We would give the police our explanation, yet right up till now we don't know whatever wound up occurring. This experience caused us to be tense for the rest of our excursion. It was half a month prior I went on an outing with my significant other Allison to the top of the mountains retreat a couple of hours from our house. Keeping in mind the family-run retreat, I will not be referencing the name. It severals the end of the week, so the agenda would be vigorously taking special care of grown-ups as opposed to its standard family direction. The hotel had an extremely dated country-ish feel to it. Everything was worked from wood. Our room was immense. It was really 2 rooms joined to one, with the entryway that generally isolates the 2 having been left open. The main night was really a singles blend night in the cellar club, just beneath the eating corridor, although it was intended to several ends of the week, so we just played some late evening shuffleboard, spoke with a couple other youthful couples, and drank at the bar a little while paying attention to a beginner performer playing guitar up on the stage. At the point when we returned to our room, there was a somewhat nauseating smell. Another smell that wasn't there before. It smelled sort of skunky. Allison sort of energetically smacked my chest and blamed me for smoking pot anyway. I guaranteed her I haven't even done as such since I was in school. Allison went to the front work area in the principal constructing and mentioned an alternate room. They denied the solicitation as the greater part of the rooms were reserved. However, they sent somebody up to our room who concurred it smelled out of control in there. The smell was generally coming from the appended and additional room that we weren't snoozing. He offered us an incomplete markdown to our bill for the bother and splashed some fibres from the wardrobe around the room. We took his idea to keep the entryway isolating the 2 rooms shut, as a skunk could have gotten into the other room. We nodded off soon after, or if nothing else attempted to, as a couple of moments after turning out the lights, me and Allison both heard a predictable crash-like sound each meager few seconds coming from the left of the bed. In a neighboring room, we attempted to disregard it and simply stand by it, out trusting it would stop. Yet it just turned out to be excessively irritating. I was certain it was a rat of some sort making the clamor in the following room over. I took a brush as a weapon and went into the associated room. I really looked in the storage room, and under the bed nothing. The sound had halted too. I was making a beeline for our primary room. At the point when I saw something in the corner, I didn't turn my head completely in the feeling of dread toward what I realized I planned to see. Yet, through my fringe vision, I saw an extremely tall, dark figure type the object toward the side of the room after locking the entryway associating 2 rooms we called the front work area, and they quickly sent the proprietor of the hotel up with a weapon. The way to the corridor on the other side of the room was open. Important. The thing I found in the corner was an individual. Furthermore, they got a move on when I left the room. The proprietor really let us know that we were brilliant to call, as there had really been a few deadheads coming to the hotel, taking food from the cafeteria, and slipping into individuals' rooms around evening time. Hey guys, don't forget to check out this video about highway horror stories.